It is impromptu episode time. I called Alan about an hour before, being like, "Hey man, do you wanna record like in an hour from now?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." We're about to talk about the mess that was this week in Formula One. I should probably mention Alan's back. How's it going, buddy?
I'm
Uh,
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm doing better now. Let me just start by saying that I officially got my tickets for the 2023 edition of the Montreal Grand Prix.
let's
Finally, getting those tickets
go.
are not easy. Just letting everyone know, if you want some tickets for the Grand Prix, it is not going to be easy and it's going to be hella expensive. So I'm just had to start by saying that, Jonah, we're gonna see each other next year at the Grand Prix. But I'm
That's
doing
pretty
good,
fair.
man. I'm doing good. There's been a lot of action in the last few days, so
Yeah.
we're good for an amazing episode today.
Well, before we get into the news of the week, what were your thoughts about Hungary?
Wow.
F for Ferrari. That's my thoughts
Wow.
on Hungary.
I don't honestly. I'll be quite honest with you. I thought I was going to see the exact same thing, or a resemblance of what happened the week prior in the France. I don't. I was not expecting a lot of big changes and a lot of big surprises. Of course, I mean, I was expecting Ferrari to put up a better performance, right? But that didn't happen.
Ferrari's got a Ferrari.
Exactly. But other than that, I had no really big expectation because I mean we had like a back-to-back weekend. So I don't think teams really had time to make improvements to their car. So I was not
Mhm.
expecting anything like relatively new. So yeah, but it turns out it was a great weekend for of course
Yeah,
non-Ferrari fans.
yeah, for non-Ferrari fans, basically for the two of us.
Oh, yes, oh my god. But yeah, yeah.
All right, so I think this was like, was it Monday? It might have been Monday. The week started off pretty chill with Porsche announcing they were buying 50% of Red Bull.
Mm, yep, yeah. I mean, we've heard like a lot of speculation about that move, but finally the transaction was made.
I
So,
thought I thought Audi, okay, because I heard rumors that, because Porsche and Audi are both owned by the Volkswagen Group, right?
exactly, yeah,
And the rumors are both of them are going to be put into F1.
yeah.
So we now know that Porsche is buying 50% of Red Bull.
Hmm.
And the rumor is Audi is going to buy Aston Martin.
Let's see if Lawrence Stroll decides to to sell that team, but that could very much happen. You
Yeah.
know, F1. What we learned about F1 so far is that things move very fast. So,
Mhm.
yep.
So how do you think this plays out for Red Bull? I think I think for me, the way that this is going to work out the most for Red Bull is obviously in their power unit.
Mhm.
Because this is year one of the RBPT experiment
True.
of what was last year possibly the fastest engine on the grid, the Honda.
Mhm. Exactly.
Um, and with this extra Porsche power and this Porsche energy that they're putting in, they could have a faster engine than the one that they have now.
I mean, it's even incredible to believe that, but totally, John. I mean, they do have a very good power engine right now. And I mean, the RB18 is like the best, in my opinion, the best car in the grid right now.
Yeah.
Ferrari has a very good car, but like Red Bull's car is amazing. So like, I can't wait to see what Porsche decides to like add to this car to make it
Yeah.
even better. Because it is already really good.
Another question that I'm thinking about right now is, if Red Bull ends up moving over to Porsche engines, what's going to happen with AlphaTauri?
Ooh, I
Because
wow.
AlphaTauri is also on RBPT,
True.
right? So they may need to
Exactly.
find another engine.
Yeah, that honestly, John, I wish I could speculate on an answer on that one, but I absolutely have no idea what could possibly happen. I mean, are they going to like find a new manufacturer, which I would doubt? I mean, because it's technically Red Bull Junior team, so they would
Yeah.
want it to be like competitive, but not too much. So,
AlphaTauri Mercedes.
I mean, probably, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that possibly happening. So I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, where else do you think that Red Bull could potentially benefit from this now 50% ownership stake with Porsche?
Hmm. hard to tell. I mean, yes, power engine, but like other than that, I wow, it's I don't their car is very good. So I don't see other than on the power engine, I don't see like how
Mhm,
where they could make improvements on the car, right? Because
mhm.
you have like top-notch engineers. So I mean, it's hard to say. Hard to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for all you know, um, this could work super well for Red Bull as much as it could work absolutely horribly for Red Bull because this
Totally.
partner, Porsche, could be completely ill prepared to enter F1. Red Bull gives them enough power and authority in the team, and they blunder.
True, totally.
That's another risk that can
True.
happen.
And it's a good thing that you're saying that because I mean, if you look at the past, Red Bull has been having some trouble with their engine manufacturers. If we think about their partnership with Renault, that really
Yeah,
worked right. And then Honda, the first year was not really crazy, and then finally, like they really managed to have a good car. But I mean, if
yeah.
it's a risk for sure. There's a risk.
At least it's not to the level of McLaren Honda like this guy behind me. So
Absolutely, absolutely. uh,
oh man. And then I think this might have been Monday afternoon or was it over the weekend, something like that. I remember I woke up and like every day this week and I was like, what's going on right now, man?
mm,
So then we have news that is especially relevant for me and my team because let's not talk about the man's replacement. We're going to talk about the man who decided to end his Formula One career, Sebastian Vettel, four-time world champion.
oh,
Uh, did you watch the full video?
I did. And just let me start by saying this that it's a good thing to remind ourselves that Vettel was the only driver who didn't hold an Instagram account. So
Yeah, that's true.
when I heard like, oh, there's a video about him on Instagram, I was like, what? He doesn't have Instagram?
I
I
was like,
knew some,
Vettel has Instagram?
exactly. I knew something was not quite right because like he stated multiple times that he wanted to stay off social media. So like, if he decides to make a move on social media, like he's definitely not gonna like he's gonna say something or something's big gonna happen. So eventually it was a tough thing to I mean listen to the video, but I was uh I was impressed. I was shocked a bit. I was not expecting him to retire from F1. I think he could have stayed like a couple more years, but I mean like means he's been like what four-time world champion.
Four
So like
times.
his F1 career has been like pretty good if you say so. I mean, yes, his time as Ferrari was not incredible, but I mean, even with Aston Martin, it was probably not what he was expecting.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, just the guy is a four-time world champion, great driver. I'm sad to see him leave,
Yeah.
but I think yeah, it's we're all getting old now that Vettel
Listen,
is leaving.
listen, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a backstory. When I was like 10 to 13 years old, I hated Sebastian Vettel because I was like, this guy's too good. He keeps on winning. I can't believe this guy is continuously winning. It's unfair. Why don't you let some of the other people win, man? I was like, he was always like so cocky and jumping up on the podium or whatever. I was like, now I look back and I'm like, I don't understand why I said those things. To be fair, I said the same thing with Lewis Hamilton for the last
That's
like 7 years.
exact
So
correlation I was going to make. I mean, we all love to hate F1 drivers that are just like
yeah.
performing on another level, but I mean,
And now I'm actually half vibing with Lewis Hamilton, which is something that I never thought that I would say 2 years ago.
oh, let's go, let's go.
So hey,
But yeah,
that's good progress from absolutely hating the guy. So
absolutely. Like
yeah,
all jokes aside, I'm sad to see him definitely. I mean, I'm more. I mean, he was yes a great driver, but also like we've seen him like doing some activist stuff on the
yeah,
side. So like he was just more than a more than an F1 driver, and he will
yeah.
definitely be missed on the grid. That's for
I
sure.
think I think there are definitely two drivers whose stardom and whose activism are beyond the realm of F1. Lewis for sure,
Mhm.
and Seb.
Totally,
Um,
totally,
Lewis because of his amazing, activism that he's done in the Black community in making racing more accessible,
more
and
diverse as well.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the Hamilton Commission in F1 is something that we haven't seen ever. So it's super
Absolutely.
important that he comes in. And Seb, regardless of what you think of the positions that he's taking, he's still really getting out there and making his voice known and being at the forefront of different issues.
Mhm.
And there are some times where he'll make it known more than in others. Like for example, for me, the most passive form of activism for me is his helmet designs.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
Right.
when did he do something in? I think he did something in Hungary last year in support of the LGBTQ community, and then I think in Saudi Arabia.
Even
Um,
I think he was the during the the threats of like Russia invading Ukraine. I think he was the first driver to voice that he was just not going to
exactly. He
there
said
was
he
going to
wouldn't
be a
race
race
in
in
Russia.
Russia. Was the
Yeah.
first one to raise his voice. So definitely Vettel is just like it was just more than an F1 driver.
Yeah. And looking back on his career, the time that he had with Red Bull is on par with some of the most dominant eras in Formula One history. I mean, look at the amount of world championships that he's had.
Mhm.
They're the only people that have more than him or equal to him are Juan Manuel Fangio and Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton.
True. True.
So listen, having one is a miracle. Having four straight on top of that,
Yeah,
like
definitely sets
it's
you apart from
crazy.
all the other drivers. Totally.
And you could easily say that near the beginning of his time in Ferrari, that he had better. He was the better driver out of him versus Vettel, but he was in a not so race winning car. So some people say that Vettel at Ferrari was the prime of his driving form and not his years at Red Bull, even though it didn't show in the win column.
Totally. But like you mentioned, the car was just not up to as a competitive level that it was at Red Bull. So
Yeah.
yep.
So yeah, a 10-year-old me would not be happy saying this, but I am going to miss Sebastian Vettel, even
We're
though
all
I think that the writing was on the wall for him. I
oh
don't.
yeah.
I think that this was the good time to retire.
Totally.
Like,
Totally.
but you know, this is great for him. And if you listen to his video, he says, "Listen, I more above being a Formula One racer and being a world champion. I'm a father, and I'm a husband, and I want to be able to teach my kids, and I want to instruct my kids my values and teach them what I like. And I think that that's an amazing thing to be
Totally.
open and public with.
Totally. But I mean, if we look at it from that perspective as well, like I mean, if he would have stayed in F1, like why would he like want to continue to stay in F1? I mean,
Yeah.
he's definitely not going to sign with a top team. And
Yeah.
like the guy was like he won like 4 world championships. Like what more? I mean, if I try to put myself in his position, what more would I want to try to achieve by staying in F1? You know, like of course you're gonna love the fans, the energy. I mean, you've been doing this all your life, but I totally feel like it was the right time for him to retire.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we all, I mean, both of us wish Seb the best in his retirement.
All right, for sure.
Meanwhile,
we're gonna see him on the grid. We're gonna see him on the grid.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see him on the grid. Meanwhile, his replacement came out of left field.
Wow.
This guy here, for those who are just listening, this guy here, it's a picture. My background is Fernando Alonso chilling in a deck chair. Fernando Alonso is going to Aston Martin.
Let me tell you that when I saw that, Jonah, I couldn't possibly think because I would have never thought throughout all my hypothesis that he was going to sign at Aston Martin. That was probably out of my sight. Not something I was expecting at all.
That was the like I woke up that morning and I was like, this is a joke. This has to be like every single joke account in Formula One is ending up on my social media feed. There's no way that this guy is actually signing with Aston Martin. And yet, his L plan
Mhm.
is leaving and is
Yeah,
going to Aston Martin.
yeah.
And
In a matter of days. I just don't understand where like how much time did they have to like to negotiate to like just confirm that he was gonna like sign on Aston Martin? Everything happened so fast. So that's like what made probably the news even like crazier than it actually is.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, definitely not expecting that. I mean, like he was having some really good races at Alpine, and but on both sides they were like interested to like add a few more years to his contract. But then you see this, something's going on at Alpine. I don't know what it is,
something's
but
going on at
something's not
Alpine.
quite right at Alpine.
I will say though, Alonso just in his press conferences and in everything, he looked and sounded so committed to Alpine.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes.
He
Oh,
was just like, hey, listen, I'm here to win races. I'm here to make sure that this team goes. We're having some good results. We're really ready to build on it. And like for other drivers whose seats are a little bit at risk, well, I mean now Vettel and like Ricardo and
mhm,
other people, they didn't seem that optimistic about their team. Meanwhile,
mhm.
Alonso is constantly since the beginning of the season being like, listen, I like Alpine. This team has some good progress. We've had some good
Yeah.
results. Let's try to build on it.
Yeah. For a team.
So I think even that also adds to this decision coming out of left field.
Totally. I mean, yes, he had some like issues at the beginning of the year, but like we were seeing constant progress. I mean, like Jonah and Montreal Grand Prix, we were there. P2.
He too.
P2. Like I'm always gonna remember that P2. Like we're not expecting that at all. So like
We
we
could
were
have
seeing,
met the guy too, eh?
we could have. I know it's crazy, but like he was having some like really making improvements, having some great performances. So like what happened? I mean, that's I think what every F1 fan is like asking themselves right now.
You ready? You ready for me to go into my conspiracy theory right
Go
now?
ahead. Go ahead. Let it all out.
Listen, remember Cyril Abitboul?
Oh my god. Yeah, of course. How can we? Out of
That's
no.
where I'm starting things, okay?
Wow, that's okay. Uh, go ahead.
There's something deeply wrong at Alpine.
Okay.
Cyril Abitboul leaves Renault.
Yeah.
They rebrand as Alpine. Alain Prost leaves Alpine. Oddmar Safnauer leaves Aston Martin to go to Alpine. Could
True.
this be? Could this be? Either something's going horribly wrong at Alpine, or this is just despite at Alpine for taking Otmar.
Oh, totally,
But like,
totally.
there's something wrong because these high level people are leaving.
True. Oh, totally. And not yeah. And some people don't even want to get into the team, right? We're gonna talk about it later.
Let's talk about that later. But
yeah. But like, yeah,
yeah,
there's something going on with their management, with like their, I know, like the engineers. I don't know what's going on, but like it doesn't seem like it's in a very appealing team that drivers would want to drive for.
Meanwhile, what does this mean for Aston Martin, who I can't believe I'm saying this right now. The 2023 Aston Martin lineup is going to be Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll.
It's crazy. Who would have thought? But what's even crazier, in my opinion, is what he said. Because he made a statement about why he wanted to sign with Aston Martin. He was thinking about, out of all the teams that are considered like in the midfield, Aston Martin was the team that was really like considering making really big improvements in the car, and like he was really sold on like Aston Martin's vision in the near future. So that's really what got him to sign with the team. But yeah, I was even more surprised because I know you're a fan, Jonah, but like this year Aston Martin's car is
it's bad.
It could need some major improvement in my opinion. Let's
listen. They've gotten points in the last few races.
They did.
So
they did. I'm not taking that.
And they brought some upgrades, and it's been looking better. But that qualifying pace is still awful.
Oh, it's totally, it's 100%.
Um,
But yeah, that's why they're focusing on 2023
yeah.
because 2022 is
So
good to forget.
hopefully this means that, I mean, I said this also when Seb signed with Aston Martin. Um, this is an opportunity not only for Fernando Alonso to show what he's worth in an Aston Martin, but it's also an opportunity for Lance to see how he could really stack up against teammates,
Sure,
especially the teammate killer known as Fernando Alonso.
totally. But I mean, if we look at all the teammates that Lance had to drive with, I mean, Sergio Perez, Vettel, Alonso. I mean, he's been used to like drive with really like
Yeah,
let's just say legendary drivers.
I mean,
So
in his entire career, he's had um, Felipe Massa,
mhm.
who could have been world champion. He was world champion for 35 seconds or whatever or whatever it was. Sergei Sorokin, but Sergei Sorokin was bad. Um, did he race with Valtteri or did they not overlap?
I don't remember. I
I
don't think
don't
so.
think they overlapped. And then then Sergio, then Vettel,
Mhm.
and now Alonso.
Yep.
So
So he's gonna be up for the challenge, but I mean it's something that's familiar with him to
yeah,
him. So yeah, let's see how he drives alongside his teammate.
I hope that Fernando Alonso brings some sort of like hope into this team.
I hope.
Even like I am gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Fernando Alonso,
Nah,
and I think you know this roughly.
I do, yeah, yeah, I do.
So I'm not the hugest fan of him, and I was really questioning this decision. So um listen, James Bond villain Lawrence Stroll, I hope that this was a good signing because I need some sort of Aston Martin hope, please.
It's just crazy that we're gonna see the man wearing green next year. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Um, what else? Um, so with Fernando Alonso leaving a seat empty at Alpine, Alpine announced, was it yesterday morning or was it Wednesday
I
morning?
think it was Wednesday morning.
So Wednesday
Yeah.
morning, Alpine put out a press release. Oscar Piastri is coming into Formula One with Alpine.
Yep. Yeah, that one. I
And
mean,
then and then about 5 hours later, Oscar Piastri says, "What the hell are you talking about?"
yep. Oh yeah, yeah, totally. We didn't see that coming. I mean, yes, the idea of Oscar Piastri signing with Alpine was something that probably everybody was expecting at some point.
Well, yeah, because he's
There
part
was
of their driver academy.
the driver. I mean, yes, it was totally logic for every F1 fan to see that spot being filled with Oscar Piastri. But there's been some really questionable things regarding that press release, especially the time that it was released. I mean,
It was
Oscar said
released at 2 o'clock in the morning,
in
Australia
in
time.
Australia. So I mean, that's a PR mistake that you can't afford to make, right? So
Yeah,
that's really questionable. But for him to say that, I mean, we're gonna go over what he specifically said. But yeah, that's I was definitely uncomfortable, very
I
uncomfortable with
remember
myself.
I remember you sent me the story. Was it you that sent me the story? Or
Oh
no, my
no,
someone else sent me the story. And that was the first thing that I saw um after like that was the first thing I saw. Not Oscar Piastri going to Alpine. I saw Oscar's story being like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to Alpine.
wow, no, I did not. I don't follow Oscar, but like, I mean, every F1 driver, in my opinion, should have a Twitter account. So I just went like, I went on Twitter like every, respectable F1 driver, and then I saw that, and I was like, yo, Twitter is inflamed right now. What is going on?
Twitter is going wild. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't use Twitter,
Oh, you
but
should. You should
I mean I have an account, but I rarely use it. So
use it for F1. Trust me, it's worth.
oh man, but what is like something's clearly wrong at Alpine. No one wants to go there.
Totally, but what's really questioning me is that I was not. I mean, I thought that every F1 driver that gets an opportunity to drive at a team, which should be like grateful and thankful. But like for
Mhm.
Oscar to say that he does not intend to drive for them, even though he was a reserve driver, is just highlighting some major red flags.
There's more to that situation, which we'll be able to talk about later.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But because I got I read an article from ESPN right before we were about to go on this podcast that I'm going to tell you about later. So before we get into before we get into that article, there are a few things that I want to talk about otherwise. First off, unrelated to news, Nicholas Latifi can officially put on his resume that he has topped a free practice session.
Wow, my God, it's I was going to forget that, but it's really really important to like highlight this.
Latifi P1 in FP3.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, respectively, try not to laugh. I wanted to be proud. I mean, he's a Canadian. I'm a Canadian.
Yeah.
So I have to support my Canadians.
I was like, Latifi on pole. I'm ready. Latifi on pole.
Let's not forget that his place this year is especially always at the bottom of the grid. So
yeah.
for us to see him P1 at a qualification session was very nice. Cheerful.
Yeah. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Felt good.
Felt good.
I just want to say I'm putting this hot take out there right now. Latifi is getting replaced next year with Logan Sargent.
Wow. That's your take?
That's my take. Take.
Yeah.
Speaking of Williams, Alex Albon also announced that he will be staying at Williams on a multi-year deal.
That's amazing.
Now, let's look at the two sides of this. Number one, super happy for Alex because he's staying in Formula One. But if he's signing on a multi-year deal, it means that something like no one is really wanting to take him on to move up.
Mm-hmm. Sure, but I think we can probably say the same thing about probably what's going to happen to Pierre Gasly, right?
Yeah,
we can make some correlations. I mean, they're like we're happy for them that they're going to stay in F1, but for them to move to a better team, it's risky out there. I don't think like top teams are willing to take that decision to sign them. But yeah, for sure, I'm really happy for Alex. But I mean, let's just not forget that he just got back to F1, so I was not expecting him to move to a different team after his first year that he's been back. So
that makes sense.
It makes total sense for him to sign a long-term contract with Williams. Hopefully, he gets another chance, another opportunity at a midfield team or a top team. But for now, I mean, Williams, I think it's probably the best opportunity that he could have gotten for the next years. So I'm really happy.
Well, I'm super happy for him too, and I want to see how this helps his career as well. Mm-hmm. Now, last thing before I talk about this new development that I received literally 20 minutes ago. I don't know if you know this, Alan, but Lewis Hamilton is now a part-time owner of the Denver Broncos.
Yes. I saw that on Instagram, and
Did you see that coming?
No, not at all. But I mean, obviously the guy's wealthy, but I mean, a lot of athletes, sometimes decide to like get into other sports and just like invest in other teams just to grow their money, because obviously at some point he's going to retire. So I think it's an amazing investment. It's amazing that he had the opportunity to make that investment. He's going to be part of an ownership group with the Broncos. So I'm definitely happy. I hope we're going to see him on the sideline, at the Broncos game.
Hey, look, let's fly to Denver to see Lewis. So we have a Grand Prix here, but let's go see a Broncos game.
Broncos game, just to see here. Yeah, I know.
Oh man, I think this is, but like, look at this. Reminds me of. Did you know that LeBron James owns part of Liverpool?
Liverpool, true. I was gonna say Chelsea, but yeah, he is a partial owner of the team. Yeah.
Of a Premier League team.
I know.
And now Lewis Hamilton owns part of the Denver Broncos.
Yes. I mean, if we talk about LeBron, his investment paid off very, very good. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a good, athletes want to get into new ventures. So it's a
yeah.
great thing to see them, still stay in the sport while being investors. So
I
yeah.
think I think that Lance Stroll should buy CF Montreal.
Wow. I mean, why not? You know what's crazy? I heard that like minutes like today, apparently he sold the Mont Tremblant racetrack. He just sold it. Yep.
Really?
Yeah, he sold it finally to a Montreal investor. So he got rid of that. And you know what I saw in the comments? It was really savage. Really, someone wrote that it's he decided to sell it so he could pay a better driver to cover his son's mistake. That
Oh no.
was so mean. That was so mean. But yeah,
That's
we'll,
brutal.
we'll probably gonna see him make a few more acquisitions in the future.
That's so brutal. Okay. Last bit of news is that from ESPN, Daniel Ricciardo has been notified that he has been replaced by Oscar Piastri at
Wow.
McLaren.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I hope it's some fake news that you got for us.
Hey, look, it's from ESPN, bro.
Yeah,
So
that would be crazy. I mean, for sure, everybody was expecting it, but I mean, after his statement on his social media that he was gonna stay and remain driver at McLaren for another year, I
yeah,
mean, I completely got rid of that. Um, you know, that's what I was thinking about
yeah.
that decision to go to McLaren. But
So
yeah.
on top of that, Sportsnet just broke it also. I have it on my phone.
Oh no way.
I'm
That is
gonna read I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this quick, okay? So
wow.
McLaren has told Daniel Ricciardo it intends to replace him with Formula 2 champion Oscar Piastri next season, ESPN's Nate Saunders reports. Ricciardo was reportedly informed by team boss Andreas Seidel about McLaren's decision after the Hungarian Grand Prix and is working on a settlement agreement. Ricciardo's contract was said to expire after the 2023 season.
Wow. Because I mean, from what I read, if he wanted to like break his contract, it was going to be about him making the decision to
Yeah.
quit before. But I don't know. Wow. I can't wait to see till we hear more development about that story. But yeah.
You know
Wow.
what would be funny?
Yeah.
If Ricardo went back to Alpine.
You know what's crazy is like a lot of I've read a lot of articles and listened to a lot of videos on YouTube, and that could be very much something that it's possible. That'll be
Well,
crazy.
like he was literally at Alpine 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, if he really wants to stay in F1, because man, I'm not ready to see Ricardo driving a Williams. I am not ready. If he's driving Williams, I mean, I think it's pretty much done for his career.
Yeah, that's true.
If he can sign
Well,
with a midfield team, oof, God
you
knows what's gonna
know,
happen.
I think that Ricardo, no, sorry, I think that Piastri should have stayed with Alpine just because I think they have upward momentum.
Mhm.
But clearly something is really wrong with Alpine that no one wants to touch it.
Wow, that's crazy,
Like
man.
I'm like Piastri is going to McLaren.
Yep.
They're definitely gonna be one of probably the youngest team
Mhm.
next year.
Totally.
Because I think Piastri is younger than we are. So
Ooh, I would need to check that out, but
is he?
I think it's a great move for McLaren, right? They're gonna get two
Yeah.
young
Oh my
drivers.
god, dude. Piastri is born in 2001.
Wow.
Piastri is younger than both of us.
Okay. Wow. But he can drive. He showed it in a F3 and F2. The man can
Yeah.
drive. So I hope we're gonna see him create a great impact, just like Guan Yu Zhou did during his
Yeah.
first year. I hope. But he's gonna have a great car. So I mean, who would have dreamed to like start your F1 career like in the midfield with like a good like to me McLaren's a good team in the midfield. I consider them
Yeah.
like a great team. So
Exactly.
he's not starting with a Haas. No disrespect to Haas or with the Williams. So I think it was bold what he said on his social media, but the guy will have to deliver for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that he's going to be able to back it up. He was
Yeah.
F2, he was F3 champion and then F2 champion 1 year after the other. So if that proves something, if that doesn't prove something, then I don't know what will.
Oh yeah, but
Um,
I'm really excited to see their lineup next year.
yeah,
Definitely.
I'm very curious to see. So that was a sum up of this week. Do you have anything to say
I mean,
before we close up?
after what happened during the last few days, last week, I think I'm going to, keep my phone close because I think it's not it's probably not the only news we're gonna hear during this very interesting summer break. I think
Yeah,
there's I
we
think
have
there's a
a
lot more coming.
we have a full month of relaxing, quote unquote.
Relaxing. But yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna see more development and a lot more news. I think, yeah, I think by the end of the month, I expect teams to like announce their lineups for next year,
Yeah,
hopefully. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of controversial stuff, in my opinion. A
let's
lot more.
see. Let's see what's going on with that, man.
Totally.
But anyways, super great to have you back on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
The Hungarian Grand Prix race review is coming in the next few days. And if you want to help us listen to us throughout the summer break and beyond, feel free to like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram at the JJF1 podcast. And we will see you for the next episode. See ya.